В тому залі, ні? Чого не заходять? Ну, добре. Хто зайде, той буде.
Fine, we will expect someone else to join us. We are all friends, colleagues, not only in real life, but also at work. So let us open our meeting of the Ukrainian Society of Ophthalmologists. We give the floor to Sergei Volodymyrovich, please. Thank you, Natalia Volodymyrovna. Dear colleagues, dear participants of the conference and the society. So we are having another meeting in the Filatov Memorial Lectures 2025. We would like to consider a couple of questions. First of all, it is the discussion of engaging of new members to our society, and we offer to join us to all ophthalmologists. This year we are going to still have the following privileges. It's free participation in seminars proposed this year. There are 6 proposed for this year. 4 of them have already been organized, but they are going to be available for our members in online or offline. The following seminars. The following seminars we are going to have in June and August. Specialized course of advancement, professional advancement. We have created special courses, especially for the members of the Ukrainian Society of Ophthalmologists, which are available in our institute. So we invite you. The practice in the workplace is going to be indeed interesting. Another privilege is free publication in ophthalmological journal, also available for Ukrainian Society of Ophthalmologists, as well as 50% discount for registration in Filatov Memorial Lectures Conference. Today we would like to offer you the issue on restoration of regional branches of the Ukrainian Society of Ophthalmologists. For example, today our subdivision, which was joined to the society and created our structural subdivision in Chernivtsi district, Chernivtsi Oblast. We are represented by Stanislav Ivanovich. in the region, and we also use the opportunity to invite all the regions to join the Society of Ophthalmologists of Ukraine. If anyone would like to express their opinion on this point, please, you're welcome. Nadia Fedorivna. I would like to say that we have great experience in organization and holding these regional conferences. I would like to say that most of them were really useful for those ophthalmologists who listen to us and to us ourselves, because each time we have to do something new, exciting, think if some points have to be remade, something should be added into the organization. So I consider that we all have to do everything possible in order to restore this interregional conference experience. And I remember the words of academician Puchkivska when she was an elderly person and left some recommendations for us in our future work, and she told us never stop holding interregional conferences, because it is of crucial importance for communication and familiarization with new ophthalmological data, and it is useful for you personally. So I confirm that, and I would like to say that whatever depends on me is going to be done. Thank you, Nadia Fedorivna. Sergei Alexandrovich. Yes, I'm greeting you really warmly. So, the most powerful organization in our country, in Europe, I could say, is our University of Filatov with these traditions, and the fact that Pochkovska academician founded, started these ophthalmological interregional conferences speaks a lot for the fact. So we have in Ukraine about 20 civilian organizations for ophthalmologists, but they are not having such huge scale as ours. So I am supporting scientific but not entertaining conferences, scientific research conferences like those from Filatov's Institute. So I know that these public organizations, like 20 public organizations, which I mentioned, like we cannot do anything with them. They are going to exist, right? They are going to do their own thing. We cannot do anything about it, but we can try to engage them to our society. And we also founded the Kiev Ophthalmological Society for optometrists as well, and we would like to engage them in this greater society, Ukrainian Society of Ophthalmologists. One day the war is going to be over, so let us now keep that in mind, that it's only in our resistance and we can resist scientifically, so we are going to win one day. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sergei Alexandrovich. We are going to think over the procedure which you offered, and we are going to do something about it. Another minute of attention. I would like to use the opportunity and present some new information to you as to ophthalmological activity in whole in our country. In the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine, it has to be, they have to confirm new coefficients for ophthalmology, I hope. It's going to be useful for our patients and ourselves, ophthalmologists. It will provide more opportunity for us, more first aid, more specialized aid. It's going to advance for ophthalmologists. We already have the procedure of engagement of regional affiliates, branches, and we invite everyone to come to our secretary, Mirnenko Valeria, and we are going to explain the procedure privately, and we will create, if you wish, we will create structural subdivisions and renew the work of interregional conferences. Thank you. The next question is Nadia Anatolievna. The floor is yours.
Good day, dear colleagues. Thank you very much for this opportunity to discuss such relevant issues, both on organizational activity and practical. I want also to join previous speakers that we have an opportunity to be united, to communicate with each other. Why? Because we have to discuss relevant issues on providing support to a wounded person, because in previous time head of our department of eye pathology initiated the launchment of 10 eye traumatic centers, and this practice was relevant for many years, because our center is a crucial, is a focal point in providing support to wounded defendants. So it is necessary to be united, and a good tendency of enlargement focal points within society on different branches in Euro-ophthalmological support and trauma support. So we will try to do our best to support this proposition. For today, I want to discuss such a crucial point as a communication between centers that provide assistance to our wounded. We know that these traumas are really severe, and the specificity of our Filatov Institute, we got such a patients in late periods when we need reconstructive surgery, and taking into consideration that these overcomplicated trauma with a lot of binocular impairments and a lot of foreign bodies. I want to highlight that every stage is crucial in order to get satisfied results. Before the beginning, I want to tell you, here is the clinical case of a patient with a penetrating corneoscleral wound of eye, total detachment of retina, and he was referred with supertrophy of eyeball. The size was only 17 millimeters. Functional points was at the level of light sensitivity with a round pearl. In our department, during the last 3 years, we performed 82 such surgeries, and their number is being increased. If in 2021 we had only 5 such surgeries, in 2023 we have 35, and now we have performed 19 surgeries. So we understand that the year has just started, and we will have a lot of such complicated patients. Why it is important for us to be united and to communicate? We have to launch a unique base of these traumas, because every trauma is unique and we have to group to randomize them. It is our primary task because their clinical manifestations differ. We have to launch so-called Walter Reed database, but in our Ukrainian format. We have to exchange our experience. You can see that eye is very complicated, but we managed to use kerathoprothesis to find retina and to make a hole inside it and to attach ciliary body. Here you can see subretinal pearls and the success of vitrinopathy in such cases is very high, and we have to remove subretinal membranes in order to get good results. So now we are removing foil from the surface of retina, and it is considered to be hopeless. I don't like this identification, but still there are really very complicated cases. At the beginning of at the beginning of video, you saw this eye. We were disappointed in some minutes, but we unfold retina, perform laser coagulation, and perform penetrating keratoplasty. And now we have organizational, not practical session. Why we highlight all these issues? Because indeed some time passes and we have our own experience, and every specialist who faces such a difficult traumas has to share his or her experience with the colleagues in order for us to generate legislative basis. Of course, practical experience is within our monographies, informational letters, and the results of our work have been published and they are widely presented on all the conferences. But we have a procedure of results registration of our practical activity, and it helps us to make some changes and to share guidelines on legislative basis. We have made a lot of work in this direction. We improved a protocol on primary assistance in eye traumas. We were the members of disciplinary working group. We adapt the famous protocol joint trauma assistant. It registered all over the world and accepted protocol, which was translated into Ukrainian with the comments of working groups. And there are points, items of primary assistance when we have eye trauma. And there are items with the clinical manifestations, pre-medical, medical assistance, but not by ophthalmologists. So those practical recommendations are for first-line responders, for people who are on stabilization points and who will provide assistance on the very first line. For people with eye traumas, it is crucially for those first stages of assistance are provided using the guidelines. We have to move further. So this year we initiated together with the state Expert Center of Ministry of Health of Ukraine the procedure of submitting application to work out a guideline and field standards to provide high qualified ophthalmological support by ophthalmologists and surgeons in cases associated with combat traumas. If you were participated in adoption of guidelines, you won't be able to write this guideline on just to share your experience. The key moment is to search a clinical recommendation as to key system. So, as we were explained by experts of State Expert Center, we have to be oriented on protocol, on existed protocols adopted in other countries based on the enough amount of studies that are evidence-based. These prototypes are in database, and there are a lot of systematic overviews, meta-analysis, and they are supported by the evidence-based criteria. So we were involved in this process very actively, and as for today, we have launched multidisciplinary working group on providing ophthalmological support associated with combat trauma. You see that there are a lot of specialists with affiliate of institutes and of leading ophthalmological hospitals of Ukraine who are involved in this activity. Anesthesiologists, neurosurgeons, the otolaryngologists are also involved in our group in order to provide high qualified protocol to meet all relevant modern requirements, not only about our ophthalmological conditions and states, but adjacent comorbid conditions. The next step was the search of the most relevant prototype, and for me it was the most complicated stage because to find such a situation common compatible to our situation, maybe luckily, but it was not simple because now Ukraine differs that within our state there is a full-scale invasion with a massive number of wounds that are not evacuated to the territory of foreign country. So these wounded people are treated within our country. These are another resources, these are another conditions for activity of ophthalmologists. And that is why the most adapted and the most relevant protocol for us was protocol of the Center of Ministry of Defense of the USA, which covers the treatment of ophthalmology trauma by ophthalmologists and ophthalmological surgeons. And the group that adopted this protocol involved the most qualified specialists who provided support to defenders involved in Iraq, Afghanistan wars. So British Medical Journal consists of a lot of protocols. It is closer to household or labor or sport traumas. NATO protocols and standards are connected to support and assistance of non-ophthalmological specialists, or they are narrowly specialized. So that's why, for now, the day before yesterday, we had a call from Expert Center. The prototype that was chosen by members of working group meet the requirements, and it is relevant for adaptation. It should be launched 3 or 4 years ago. Our prototype was published in 2022. Then the main principle is preservance of full text. Yes, we can adopt and prove the whole text of this protocol. We have to make some comments, but still this text is okay for us. We have to show and to prove this recommendation by our practical experience. And of course, after the translation of all protocols, we'll have to enlist all the sources that we use in the main prototype, and we will add our published resources. Our prototype as to agree system was totally approved as to the requirements of questionnaire, and it was approved by the members of our working group and the members of state expert center. Comments of our working group will be formed inside the group, and then I want to highlight that as to the procedure of this protocol development, we will present our results on open public meeting and discussion, and this Society of Ophthalmologists is the place where we can discuss this issue and where we can involve all the necessary specialists, not only of ophthalmology but of adjacent fields as well, in order for us to launch high quality product with ophthalmological recommendation that we need for today. Thank you very much for your attention. Maybe you have questions, please. Thank you.
Мирненко.
The next report is by Mirnenko Valeria, Secretary of the Ukrainian Society of Ophthalmologists. Report on the work of the society. Good day, everyone. I'm glad to greet you. I'm going to report on the work of our society, on our seminars, master classes. We invite everyone to our next seminar on the 20th of June 2025. And we are beginning, we began with this first masterclass. We had 111 participants. It was dedicated to eye trauma. The next masterclass was dedicated to basic principles of anti-angiogen therapy in ophthalmology. We issued certificates with points. The next one was the next masterclass was invited 214 participants. We invite everyone, by the way, anyone can join us, listen to our research papers, take part in our discussions. The fourth masterclass was dedicated to conservative and surgical treatment of dystrophy of cornea. This was held in 2025 in April. So the next masterclass is going to be in June. We are going to issue certificates. We are going to award points for attending our seminars and master classes. So since the 1st of July, there is going to be a new order about awarding of points for participation in these events. So I would like to invite Kapshuk Natalia Ivanivna from Vinnytsia, who is going to join us in Zoom. Is she ready? Is there the connection established? We have held different conferences with Natalia Ivanivna. We have been working with her for a couple of years. Yes, good day, everyone. Do you hear me? Yes, thank you. Join us. Greetings, dear colleagues, and thank you for such a nice event for the organization. Natalia Ivanivna, did you have the opportunity to listen to us? Right now, we have been discussing different points on organization of regional subdivisions. We are trying to renew the structure of our society. Might you add anything? Well, this is a complicated idea, but it is really topical today because the war is going on and we have to support each other and have certain platforms for studying, for growth, for advancement of knowledge, and to share experience. Definitely. That is why the idea is great. So next time we're going to join you, maybe visit you and hold conference where you are. Yeah, we can discuss that. Great. So we are going to cooperate anyway. I'm really grateful for your support. Yes, I have really warm memories from the regional conference organized by Filatov Institute in our regional hospital. Can we also invite Yaroslav Ivanovich Pashkevich? Yeah, we invite you to tell us some words. We organize inter-regional conferences with Yaroslav Ivanovich. Yes, thank you very much. I'm very honored by participants in the society, and I think that renewal of work in the regions, conferences in the regions, is of crucial importance because the regions have to take the responsibility and create the platforms. It is indeed important to issue orders and issue rules, regulations, guidelines in order to organize and manage our work. There has to be clear organizational structure of work according to certain guideline. There is no place for questions like, can we do it like this or should we do it like that? Everything has to be clear. Some time ago, there was a trauma. A guy had a finger cut off, like a very famous person had this operation done abroad, and all the examinations were done first in Kiev, but anyway, abroad, the hospital, according to their protocol, did all the tests from the beginning because the protocol was so clear. And there is no doubt of what to indicate, what to prescribe, beta blockators, prostaglandins, or something else. Like there is no place for such question. And we highly require such strict protocols and guidelines as somewhere abroad. We don't need complications, but we understand that we are going to face some troubles, face some issues legally, especially if the aid which is provided to patients is not qualified, if the specialists fail in a way. So because if a person uses a protocol and treats in a regulated way and has some failure, then that would cause some trouble for this person. And in the other way, we will have more responsible approach. Thank you very much for your attention. Now we have another specialist. Good day. I'm glad to greet you. You can hear me, right? Yes, I'm really glad to join your conference. Thank you. Unfortunately, I cannot be present there with you because of my work. The topic which you are discussing now, like the following of the protocols of medical aid, does not only concern our ophthalmological branch, but the medical sphere in total in Ukraine. Like we had this assignment by the Ministry of Healthcare of Ukraine that every establishment has to provide the protocols used, and the ministry had to analyze it there. We understood that some establishments, despite the fact that they are profiled establishments of Ukraine, they are not working in this direction. They are not engaged in drawing up of these protocols. At present, there are lots of specialists from Ukraine who have moved abroad, who have left the country. On the other hand, we've got lots of young specialists, which is great because young people are active. On the other hand, their experience is much lower than of those experienced experts who left. So it would be important to establish the protocols based on foreign experience and our Ukrainian experience, and we surely have certain branches of ophthalmologists, certain areas in which we were the first to implement some inventions, discoveries in trauma and in other areas. So some foreign colleagues are going to be glad to share our experience. Thank you very much. Now Ivano-Frankivsk Sergei Valerievich has joined us. If you are ready, please. We have worked with Ivano-Frankivsk a lot. We have organized conferences there. Yes, let's wait for them to join us. No, unfortunately, they have no opportunity, no connection. Maybe someone would like to add anything. Please come up to us. Yes, I can add that definitely when such full-scale war started, the activity of all ophthalmologists suffered a lot. But I can state that within 2024, a huge amount of work was done Our master classes, seminars were renewed and advanced all over Ukraine. They partially substituted the interregional conferences, which were interrupted after the war started. But I consider that we have to continue both master classes, seminars in online format, forecast in Odessa, as well as seminars in other establishments, not only in Odessa, like in Kiev, in the western Ukraine. And definitely, this is a great idea to continue support our inter-regional conferences because they are traditional for us. This is like our thing of the Society of Ophthalmologists in Ukraine. There is development, it is visible. We are going to support the development. The Filatov Institute is going to support it along with the establishments in the region. So let's go to the future. We invite Natalia Mykolaievna Moisenko, Ivano-Frankivsk, professor of ophthalmological chair. I am the head of the chair of ophthalmology. Good day, dear colleagues. It is indeed a nice initiative to establish protocols of first aid. I consider actually that there are no protocols whatsoever now, so we will have to establish completely new ones. And as to the master classes among physicians, interns, students, there is a high need and request for such seminars and master classes. We observe it in our chair, so that young people as well as experienced physicians, they want these types of events. Everyone wants to study, everyone wants to share their experience, their discoveries, cases. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm really grateful. Pavel Andreevich Fedirko will join us in our discussion. This question is complicated one, and of course it would be nice to restart these conferences. But I think we could start from Kiev. We could actually organize a conference like that. But for now, we should limit it to safer locations. Like Kiev is not safe as some locations, but we can make it as safe as possible. And surely it would be better to organize the conferences in safe cities, not in those which are under constant shelling, bombing. And as to establishment of new regulations, definitely we have to take into account all the experience. We have to think how to pass this experience to our colleagues without posting it on the internet, without posting it in public networks, because this experience has to be accumulated and developed in our country and not in any case share it with countries which are not friendly to us. This is a complicated issue. We have to think how to do it. Think well. Probably something has to be written, marked as data for service work material. We don't have to publish everything in the public space, what we achieved with high difficulties. It's not right to give it away. I would also like to say that this work, the accumulation of our experience, we had the opportunity to give more, to speak more about trauma, like the previous presenter did more and reported more about her cases of military trauma. But I know that many physicians, many ophthalmologists were just not ready for the situation that we are having now. But we are doing our best to not to have this situation with the radiation trauma. Of course, today we are more experienced in this field than anyone else. We have to keep it like that. We don't want experiments with radiation in our country anymore. And we don't want our experience and our work to be spread elsewhere. This is all what I wanted to say today. And of course, the initiative of seminars is really good, but all the valuable things have to be limited, have to be preserved somehow. We will think it over. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, some more information as to protocols. I would like to say that our institute now prepares applications for 4 more protocols, one of them concerning the pathology of diabetic retinopathy. This is going to be eye tumors, including pediatric ophthalmological oncology. This is going to be cornea pathology and retinopathy of children born before term. So we are forming these applications to file them to the Ministry of Healthcare. If anyone wishes, please join us in this process. So we have discussed all the questions for now. We are finishing our meeting. We have the question. Speaking from the Association of Pediatrical Ophthalmology, you have elaborated some protocols which have to be probably passed to public organizations, and if you don't mind, we could offer this protocol together with you because it is already it corresponds to the standard. We could present it to you, and commonly with the Filatov's Institute, we could assign a work group who would deal with this process together, because there are lots of events with young ophthalmologists and so on, which from time to time just appear in the public space, but then they disappear. Probably they should close, terminate their societies. Thank you. And to finalize our meeting, let me introduce our great friend, Professor Bernard Henrich, who in such a festive atmosphere going to sign second agreement on cooperation between the Philadelphia Institute and clinics of Ogano in Ophthalmological Center, if it's possible. How is it going to take place? Yes, please. This is an agreement about scientific cooperation of our establishments. Our scientific cooperation started with master classes held by a doctor of medical scientist, Mykola Mikolaevich, and our scientific cooperation of clinical research of artificial intellect in diagnostics of diabetic retinopathy registered in the clinics of Professor Herbert. So we are continuing our cooperation and we have further plans. Thus, we are starting our international cooperation with great Swiss clinics dealing with issues of surgery, vitreoretinal surgery, cataractal surgery. So we are thus beginning our cooperation. Thank you very much. Thank you too.
I have to speak in English, I'm sorry. I want to thank Professor Pasechnikova, Andrei Karol, and all of you for the possibility to work together. This work has started many years ago, roughly 15 years ago, and it started very slowly, and it evolved, and we have made some really nice publications together meanwhile. And beyond the publications, there is friendship that grew and that is still growing every year more. And that for me is really an immense pleasure, I must say. I do believe in what we're doing for the friendship, but also for the science, because it's so obvious to me that there is so much we can learn from each other. We have very different systems, and we have very different skills that we bring to the table, and together we are stronger than each of us alone, and that's wonderful. So thank you once again.
Very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Тобто я
And I'm grateful to everyone who has attended the present meeting, that you have witnessed the signing of our cooperation agreement, and let us continue our event. Dear colleagues, I remind you that on the 20th of June, we are going to have another meeting of the Society of Ophthalmologists of Ukraine, where we are going to have new master class. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Цього року ми святкуємо 150-річчя з дня народження видатного офтальмолога Володимира Петровича Філатова, який є засновник Української школи офтальмології. Він народився у лютому 1875 року у сім'ї земських лікарів і все своє життя присвятив офтальмології.
Ім'я Володимира Філатова назавжди вписано в історію медицини, не тільки медицини взагалі, але й, зокрема, в історію офтальмології. Академік Філатов створив абсолютно унікальний інститут світла. І сьогодні інститут займає одне з головних місць серед наукових закладів, серед закладів охорони здоров'я України. Інститут Філатова є, мабуть, одним з найбільших і найпотужніших закладів офтальмологічних центрів Європи і всього світу.
Ми, філатовці, представники Філатовської офтальмологічної школи, постійно згадуємо гасла, які нам залишив академік. І одним з них є те, що майбутнє медицини за тими людьми, хто вірить і робить неможливе і діє. І це насправді стало гаслом для відділу посттравматичної патології ока Інституту Філатова. Наш відділ цього року буде святкувати 60-річний ювілей з дня створення. І ще перший завідуючий відділом професор Скрипніченко Зінаїда Михайлівна і послідуючі її послідовники виховують в усіх співробітниках непереможне стремління до досягнення найкращих результатів, навіть в самих безнадійних випадків.
Відділ запальних захворювань ока є унікальним відділом в інституті, який існує більше 50 років. Його історія розпочалася з дослідження туберкульозу очей, що було дуже актуальним в післявоєнні роки, після Другої світової війни, звичайно. Наразі ми продовжуємо роботу наших попередників і ми займаємось такою складною патологією, як увеїти. Це орфанні захворювання, які є однією з основних причин сліпоти у молодих людей, у дітей, яку неможливо вилікувати хірургічно.
Сьогодні інститут надає як консультативну, діагностичну і лікувальну допомогу нашим пацієнтам. Ми лікуємо абсолютно всі, без виключень, офтальмологічні захворювання. Інститут в своїй структурі нараховує 475 ліжко-місць, 9 хірургічних стаціонарних відділень, консультативну поліклініку, 10 наукових лабораторій, а також інші клінічні підрозділи.
Особисто я пишаюсь тим, що декілька методик, розроблених в нашому інституті, в Європі називають по прізвищам наших фахівців.
Одна з головних місій нашого інституту полягає в тому, щоб зробити доступною сьогодні високоспеціалізовану офтальмологічну допомогу для кожного українця.
Цього року ми святкуємо 150-річчя з дня народження видатного офтальмолога Володимира Петровича Філатова, який є засновник Української школи офтальмології. Він народився у лютому 1875 року у сім'ї земських лікарів і все своє життя присвятив офтальмології.